It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's the handwritten letters from home. It's the sleepless nights alone. Newborn baby you left at your wife. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down his life. It's the red, white, and blue. While these stars in the stripes. From the hills of Indiana, from the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, while these stars in the stripes.
Battle on the Homefront TV. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Here with my man Everett. What's up, brother?
How you doing, man?
Good. Founder of GETVET.
Yes.
And we're going to get into that. Let's get a little bit of time and service, what you did, your story, and then we'll go into it.
In 1993, I thought it would be a good idea to enlist, but when I went into the enlistment office, did the ASVAB, everything, they basically looked at me and said, no matter what you choose, you're not going to get in, because they were doing a drawdown. So I kind of took a step back, went into the School of Hard Knocks, and went out and tried to do what I could do in life. 10 years later, I actually enlisted, and they took me, amazingly enough. Went into the medical field, and it was interesting going in later because you knew what kind of process was going on in training, and just had to keep your mouth shut about it because we all know. And I ended up getting hurt at Fort Chaffee, about 4 hours from home, of all places, you know. So ended up breaking my back, busted my knees, and got a medical discharge. That was the first step in changing my entire career outlook. My plan was to go into medical, work my way up, go through all the classes and courses to a PA, and retire and go to AMED in San Antonio and teach. That was my whole career. When I got broken up, I went into Voc Rehab, and they're like, yeah, you're not going to be able to stay in medical, period. There's no way they're going to keep you for anything, even in civilian. At the time, I was working at the local hospital in the burn center doing wound care, and it was getting harder and harder each day. And based on the diagnoses given, it didn't make any sense why. We later found out that I had collapsed discs and needed surgery. So ended up going into IT, went through that for 12 years, worked with many specialty groups with the Air Force. The joke is, you know, the Army broke my back, the Air Force almost broke my will to live. So yeah. It's a different animal in each.
How long was you in the Army before you got hurt?
It was 4 years.
Yeah.
Grew up around it, fifth generation enlistee, and should have known that, you know, everybody in my family that went to the Army got hurt. So I should have paid attention to that, but, you know, a little bit of pride in legacy there. Yeah. I was medically retired from civil service. So twice the government said, we don't want you. So sat around for about 8 months, and a friend of mine got me into...
You said civil service?
Civil service.
What is that?
That is working for the government as a civilian. You know, even though I had military background time, I actually was working as a civilian in IT for the Air Force.
So I found, you said that and it instantly, so I found, I got a 1951 Willis Jeep, and in my glove box, I found a Civil Service World War II award in the glove box.
Correct.
Those
are awesome.
Yeah, I didn't. Anyways, continue.
Yeah.
You said civil service, and I've heard that before.
Yeah, there's also in that same realm, back in that time period you're talking about with your Willis Jeep, is civil defense. Yeah. There should be some other stuff in there about that.
Maybe it was civil defense.
Could have been.
Maybe it was. Anyways, I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. So in 2018, at the age of 43, I was medically retired and sat around for 8 months. Anybody who has followed any of the stuff I've done knows the story. I'm the guy on the couch, and that is my story basically. And got into doing a coffee thing, and decided that if we're going to do something, then we're going to do it as a business. And my wife and I became partners in Glass Elephant Trades, which is GETVET. The glass elephants is from our honeymoon, and I said if we ever do something, we have to use these elephants.
Where was your honeymoon at?
It was at Disney World. I lost out on a coin toss to Tigger over Niagara Falls. But I've been promised that by our 20th we will go to Niagara Falls.
Nice.
So eventually, I'll get there.
Yeah. Niagara Falls would be pretty cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
So what all do y'all do with GETVET though?
With GETVET, it started out as mainly an entrepreneurial online coffee and sales and e-sales, e-commerce.
And you've partnered up with one of my good friends as well recently.
Yes, recently.
Carrie Beavers.
Carrie Beavers. She's got her own brand, and there's some potential here in our local area that I think we can do well for her here.
For sure.
And it's basically just promoting her to those businesses as another income stream.
Absolutely. Soldier Girl Coffee.
Absolutely. Looking forward to trying that out. The other aspects of it are we branched out doing a lot of work with Socialutions, and they were handling all of the media. When it came time to re-up with them, they pitched to me, all these things that you're doing individually with veterans, why don't you start an academy, a website, and reach out to more people, and just basically structure it where those who can do it on their own, and those who can't, you can offer them guided services. So we sat down, we went through the processes, and I wrote everything out of the last 15 years of helping people. And it turns out that there's a checklist that nobody knows about because it was never written. But it's the same process every single time. When you go to a service organization, they say, give me your stuff. They'll write everything up. They'll turn it in for you. They don't teach you anything.
Yeah.
They don't help you be self-sufficient in talking about the parameters and what it is that you need to do, what you need to look for. But because if you have a better understanding of what is needed, then you as the individual will be able to think a little more about what you can get to provide for those benefits.
Yeah, and we're talking about VA benefits.
VA benefits, yes.
Yeah, because that is a whole monster in itself. And I got to get hooked up with you, okay?
Absolutely, let's talk about it.
I am fighting him right now, and I'm 100%. I'm going to be 100%. There's no doubt, and I'm 30% right now for PTSD. But, dude, it's just, and I've talked about it on the previous shows, it's just like, it's so hard to navigate.
Absolutely.
It's horrible. How did you get skilled in the art of the VA? Because I feel like it's a whole art.
It is. Every agency in the government has their own set of rules. They all do, and it's amazing. Like, we'll talk about Social Security real quick. It is a federal agency under the Secretary of Interior, or Department of Interior, run by OPM, but when it comes down to get your benefits, it's done by a state run group. So they don't follow the same rules. I was retired medically by OPM under the Department of Interior. However, I don't qualify under Social Security at the state level, even though it is run by OPM and the Department of Interior. Explain that one to me. They can't explain it to me. So yeah, it is all about learning the rules of engagement for each agency, and it's sad you have to say it that way. But one of the things we're doing with the VA application stuff is changing the way you read the terminology. And we can get into that in a minute.
Yeah. So come on. So what does it cost though for the academy? Like if a veteran wanted to do it, be a part of it, is it a monthly? Is it a yearly?
We haven't really set that part up. What we're doing right now is getting the word out, and we're providing that checklist of do these things and letting those people who want to do it go that route, because we are still in the process of building out all the curriculum. We want to have it in place and ready to go. And I'm sure we're going to be adding to it as we go because we're going to learn stuff that we didn't really focus on to begin with. In other aspects of filing for those benefits. Another aspect of it is it's not just for the veterans, it's for helping the spouses and dependents. So
love it.
Yeah.
We need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a quick commercial break, check out the sponsors, and make sure you subscribe to Battle on the Homefront TV.
This is Brian Prater, owner of Prater Roofing Construction. Guys, listen, we're out here servicing Oklahoma and surrounding states. Definitely want to pay tribute to the men and women that fought for this country, any patriots. We service everybody. You can reach us at 405-334-7708, and we'd love to come to work for you. Thank you.
Hey, so we were talking about the veterans, spouses, and their dependents. That's one of the things that when you do go to a veteran service organization, and they're all good, you can't go wrong. And some states have state departments, but like Oklahoma has a State Department of Veterans Affairs. They'll file all of your stuff for you. They will file your federal benefits from a state agency. It's interesting how all those dynamics come into play. What they don't do is teach you what to do. One of the first things that I wanted to do was help people figure out, where do I start?
Yeah, that's it. That's the first one right there.
So if you know that something happened and you've got medical records and you've got a little bit of a history in your file, but you don't have everything you need, there's several things you can do, and that's what we try to outline specifically. Do this, and do this, so that you can get the records you need to prove. That's all you have to do is prove that it happened. Then the VA starts their games. And I hate to say it that way, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's almost like a tennis match. So when you get the letter from the VA, it's not really a denial letter. It's more of a, we need more information.
Yeah.
And what they're trying to say is, you applied for this, we gave you this, you didn't get this because. And most people stop at, you didn't get this. And they don't look at the, you didn't get it because. You didn't get the next higher rating. What they're doing when they say that we rated you at 10% and not the higher 20% is saying that we didn't have enough information. So what you do is you read over the criteria for that, and then you get that information.
Yeah, I know I have to go back there, but I went there it's coming up on a year, so I know I got to redo it again before, because it's every year, correct?
Correct.
You got to make
1
sure
year
you refile.
yeah.
So I'm real close to that. But I went in there, and the guy was like, they pulled up all my stuff, and I mean, I got documented stuff from time of service, of being hurt, and he was like, man, they're gonna owe you a bunch of money. Like, there's no, he was like shocked that they literally denied stuff that I had, 6 months of back stuff. I got hurt in a training accident and got nerve damage in my stomach, and it affected my right testicle.
Right.
And so, I mean, documented stuff.
Right.
And he was just like, I can't believe that they kicked you back. Like, you have 6 months of these things documented. So, like, it's a fight, dude. I'm over it.
I understand that. Something that may make that relight that fire a little bit for you is it was declared that the service members who had service group SGVLI or SGLI, which translates to VGLI when you get out for Veterans Group Life Insurance, there's something called the TSGLI, Traumatic Service Group Life Insurance. It was a silent rider on the insurance that we all had. They didn't tell you about. if you had
Sneaky asses. I
very,
swear.
very, it is to your benefit. They're going to fight it because there's 2 sections, like most of the things, and they'll deny you on Part A because it's not traumatic brain. It's not all traumatic brain. Part B is activities of daily life. In that section, it talks about if you have 3 activities of daily life that were interrupted during that time of care, they'll pay you $25,000 a month up to 4 months. That's $100,000. So if you had 6 months worth of stuff going on and you had any of those times in there that were 30 days of activities of daily life that you needed assistance with, it might be worth your while. They are going to fight it. There are attorneys that will help you with it. And there is there's an attorney group out of Ohio, I believe, that I've been talking with another veteran that I was working with, that their rates are lower than anybody in the country because they're looking at getting the veteran to where they need to be. And they know that if they do a volume amount, they'll be really doing well.
Are you with GetVet? Are you linking up with any lawyers to try to have them in your pocket that are going to support you in your mission?
There are 2 groups that I am looking at right now. They have not said yes, but one of them is working on my Social Security stuff. And once we're done with that, we'll be able to discuss business a little more. Right now, it's a conflict to discuss that. The other one I'm waiting on a response from, and those are the ones that are doing the direct VA application appeals for those people who have been rated, and then the VA comes in without following their own policies and procedures and drops your rating, which happens a lot.
Really?
Yeah, they're not supposed to, based on their own rules and regulations. It has to be a specialist in that field of whatever your injury is, and not just 1 but 2 that say that yes, it is better than. But what the VA will do is they'll go in and they'll take the QTC rating or the independent evaluators that you go and see to get your ratings increased. They'll take their recommendations and then they'll just change your rating without telling you.
Really?
Yeah.
Lower it?
They'll lower it. I was at 40% before I had my back surgery. They removed a disc, put in 4 screws and 2 rods. I lost range of motion. I lost mobility. And they came back and said, well, you've been put back to not 40%, but only 10% disability in that area. Even though my everything went down on my range of motions, the VA decided that an independent physician, not a specialist in the field, can reduce that. Citing the 38 CFR section, sending it back to them and saying, hey, you can't do that. They sent me back to QTC, and then they basically put me right back up where I was, and they changed my back date for 2 years to the time of my surgery and back paid me from 70% to 100%.
So can they go back? So I have some follow-ups. I had 2 of them last week, and I rescheduled, and then I missed that one. I'm horrible. But can they, if you're not doing your follow-ups on your claims, can they like scratch your claim in a hole?
At one point, they can say you're non-compliant. However, if you're keeping in touch with them, which
some kind of communication,
then that typically will not happen. However, make sure you document it.
Yeah.
I talked to this person at this time, or I called this number at this time. For instance, I got a notice that I was non-compliant in my dental, but we had canceled our appointment 2 months in advance. Got confirmation of it, and then day of, I get a phone call from the clinic. So there's a miscommunication inside the system. So you need to keep a written documentation of who you called and when and where you left the messages.
Have you ever heard of anybody getting their claims lowered because they weren't taking the medicine that was prescribed?
If you don't refill it, yes.
Wow.
Because you become non-compliant.
We're about to jump right into that.
All right.
Hey, check out my sponsors. All right, we're back. Battle on the Homefront TV, and a really good topic. We're just talking about, if they can take away your percentage or your claim if you're not taking your medicine. You obviously know I advocate strongly with natural medicine and other alternatives other than pharmaceuticals. And I do not take any pharmaceuticals. They are, for me personally, I can't speak on everybody. I can only speak on me and my situation. They make me worse. And I think a lot of the suicides that we get in our veteran community, a lot of those are induced because your head is totally thrown off by pharmaceuticals. And they, and I have heard that, and I was worried about that. I guess I've never really asked that real question and got a good answer on it, but I've always just faked the funk. Like, they're probably watching right now. They're going to cancel my shit, but guess what? I don't care. but I've always, oh yeah, sure. And what's funny is, like, I'm sitting there, and the doctor's like, oh, here's trazodone and here's this and this. And I'm just like, listen, have you heard about Active Duty RX?
Yeah.
Let me tell you about this company I started.
Something that most people don't recognize or realize is that if you have private insurance and you see a private doctor, their recommendations and their guidelines are good enough. The VA cannot discredit a physician. They don't have that authority. My doctor says I need to do this. I'm doing this. Well, that's good enough to get your ratings up.
What's the process on getting a outside physician other than the VA? Because I hate anything to do with the VA.
If you have a private physician, or if you have private insurance, just go to the physician you want.
Right.
Just talk to them about the things that you're going to be needing to do. Take in your documentation, take in the forms, and say, this is some of the stuff I'm doing. Have you seen any of this before? Talk to them about it. If they're familiar with any of the VA forms, you're probably in good hands. If they're not, and they're willing to learn, then that's somebody that you can work with.
There's something with the VA that if you want to go to it, if you don't have private insurance, right? If you want to go to an outside physician, civilian physician, if you want to call it that, there is something that you can fill out and do to get out of the VA, correct?
Not that I'm aware of. Only if you are a certain distance from.
That's what it was. Got you.
Yeah, you have to be 40 miles away, or it has to be more than 30 days out, and they'll refer you to a local.
That's what 30 days out. That's what I remember. Is if they couldn't get in there and see you within that 30 days, you have the option to go to a civilian.
With that program, however, keep in mind that this is a third party billing, so any bills you get from that clinic that you go to that is you're referred to, you want to keep that, to make a copy of it and send it in to the VA. There's a specific place to send it that you want to send that into to make sure that they pay them. So keep in touch with the clinic you went to, and keep in touch with the billing department from the VA to make sure they're paying them.
Yeah, I think from what I learned about anything to do with the VA or the military in general, keep all your paperwork as much as you can. Document everything.
They get the copy.
Yeah.
You keep the originals. So
yeah, that's a big. You know what we ought to do? I just had a brainstorm.
Sure, man.
We ought to get you on my show at least once a month, one time a month, and even if we do 10 minutes of just VA information, just that guidance. Yeah. I mean, that would align with GETVET.
Absolutely.
And so that in a way to promote you, promote GETVET, and just throw out, little helpful things.
Yeah.
Even a 10-minute segment, man. Let's figure that out.
Sure.
Get something going.
I mean, we get that checklist in people's hands, and it's going to tremendously change the environment to begin with. Yeah. Changing the atmosphere of the terminology. Say, for instance, you've been discharged and it wasn't an honorable discharge. Did you know that there's 2 programs out there that will help change that?
Really?
One of them is actually online through the VA. There's 4 categories. If you fall in one of those 4 categories, you can apply electronically.
Really?
To have your character of discharge changed.
See, that's just like the little things I'm talking about right there.
Yeah,
those
nuggets.
Little things like that. I know, you know what? I know a lot of badass, true-hearted, good soldiers. Mm-hmm. That was a knucklehead and got in some trouble in the military.
It all comes... The character of discharge doesn't talk about the character of the person.
Right.
It was somebody's opinion about your time in service.
Right.
And people see character of discharge, but I'm a good person. I don't have bad character. It's not that. It's the terminology that they use. We're trying to change the atmosphere of that terminology, of what it really means. so that people aren't discouraged because of the semantic warfare that they're going through.
Well, and that's another tool. That's another way
Absolutely.
to stop veteran suicide, because there's veterans out there that went through the shit.
Yep.
I can assure you, come home to Garrison, got in some trouble. Understandably, we're all human. I've been in more trouble than I want to even talk about, but I do talk about it. But and so I think that's just another form of ending veteran suicide. I mean, just addressing these issues.
A
And
little bit of an outreach, man.
man, that's crazy. Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's there, but nobody talks about it. It's just, there's no way to change it. For 10 years, I was trying to help somebody, and I was always told, every service organization I talked to said, it doesn't exist. There's no way to do it. There's 2 programs that have been in effect for over 20 years
Man,
that
that's
nobody
cool.
knows about, nobody talks about.
Right.
So if you don't fall into the category of those 4 on the VA, there's a form you fill out and just make a request. Again, the same things that you would put in for your lay statements from, coworkers, neighbors, friends, people who can attest, people that you were working with or people you were in service with, who can say, yeah, this happened. This is the results of what happened. They can do the same thing about your character, saying, hey, he's not this kind of a person. It was a rough patch. We're all under a lot of stress in those times. These are the things that has been accomplished. This is the person I know. And you submit that with your 2-page application. It's very simple. It's daunting because it looks like 4 pages, but 2 pages of instructions. You know how they are.
Yeah.
So you fill out these 2 pages, and then you get these statements from people you know attesting to the kind of person you are. And then you submit that in, and you just wait. I mean, it's the same thing you do with everything with them. You submit it and wait.
Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait.
What else has GetVet got going on, man? I love it. I'm pumped up.
Well, we have, like I said, we're starting the website, so we're starting the e-commerce store.
Yeah, and it's in its infancy,
It's
right?
in its infancy.
You're about to work with SMG on some stuff up here.
Absolutely. We're trying to get some a few modules done, videos, walking you through the processes. And when we get done with that, we're going to do a little bit of a hard launch. But right now we have the U-Help funding that's trying to help us pay for the website and the videos and stuff. We also have the e-commerce out there that we're selling a few of the items that have the GetVet logo on it.
Cool.
And all of that goes right back into the development of the media to get the information out. So
Awesome. You got a t-shirt company already?
I don't.
Dude, I don't have it on. I wore them the other day, but I got a veteran-owned and operated company. Amazing guy. Just did all Barrage Coffee, all that company that I have, all my merchandise, and dude, great pricing, quality. I'm talking. He's got an awesome ink press machine. I got to get you hooked up with him. If you need merch, he is your man.
I used to do silk screening for a company in Oklahoma City right out of high school.
Yeah.
There was a friend of mine's dad who needed some extra help during the summer. So we did the Southwestern Bell telephone silk screening of the signs.
Yeah.
Their biggest client was the New York Penitentiary
Nice.
system.
Yeah, he ended up getting a veteran loan, like a grant.
Yeah.
And he got, I'm talking a badass, like $15,000 t-shirt machine, and he's a growing business. Natalie Holland from Paul's for Purpose and GI Mutts. They were on my show a couple weeks ago. I just got them linked up, and he's pumping their merchandise out for them. So I'm just trying to build that
Networking is the way to
network.
go. Yeah.
Dude, it's amazing. I think we're so much stronger together, and I hate, especially a lot of the nonprofits, and I've said it before, right? I hate the competition between them. I feel like if we were one collective, we were together, if we didn't worry about salaries, or who's raising money on this side of town or who's raising the most money, I think we can tremendously help our veteran community, right? Like,
veterans helping veterans, and as long as you're worried about keeping the boat afloat for somebody else, they will carry you down the river.
110%. My man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Love it.
We definitely, I so want to get you involved with this. I want to be involved with you. I need your help.
Let's get it done.
So, vet the vet. We'll
Yeah, absolutely.
But I need all the help I can get.
So this is part of the outreach, is like finding people who you don't know need help. I mean, you and I have known each other for a while,
Yep.
and I didn't know that you needed help. Well, now we're talking about it, so let's get it done.
That's the first step is to talk about it
Absolutely.
with anything, man. So I thank you very much.
Hey, man.
Please plug away everything what you got going.
Okay. The GetVet.vet is the website. It's where the academy is. You can sign up. You can buy merchandise. We're on Facebook. We have an e-com on there as well. And the first module, we're going to try to get that wrapped up here in the next few days and get it posted. So I think that's pretty much where we're at right now. If anybody wants to support and empower the process, buy some merchandise. We've got our party pints out there. They're made by a company here in America that has a utility patent on it, and they are awesome. They are a lot of fun, and they're really durable. Take hot beverages, go in the freezer, dishwasher safe, and we've got a red, white, and blue one coming out this summer.
Send it.
Yeah, hey,
Send
this one. This one actually glows in the dark.
I'm just saying, did y'all see the catch? Did y'all see that?
Hey, I didn't know we had these in here. Thanks, man.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, this is right there.
There's the other one too. This is made by Warrior Flask. Okay. The big thing about this is that besides having this gorgeous logo designed by Sociolutions, every one of these that is purchased, one goes downrange.
Cool.
So it's a 1-for-1. So every one that I buy, they send one out to
Oh, you can't beat that. That's
a
awesome.
veteran in service downrange. So
That's cool.
yeah, the big thing about this is we tested it in the garage with some of the mechanics that I work with. We put ice in it, and they said it'll keep ice in the tumbler for 24 hours. So we put ice in it. Came in the next day, it still had ice in it. So we
Really?
put water in it. Let it sit another 24 hours. It was still icy inside, cold. And we're talking in the summertime, in the middle of a shop, with cars and stuff like that.
That's cool.
So you know how hot those places can get. So
Oh yeah. No,
But,
I love it. So we're gonna definitely. You ain't got T-shirts yet. We're gonna get.
Not
I'm
yet,
gonna get
but-
you hooked up with him.
yeah,
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm grateful and thankful, man.
let's
and,
get this. Let's get your benefits done, and let's get your benefits done.
Y'all reach out. Thank y'all for watching Battle on the Homefront TV. I'm beyond grateful for every one of y'all.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's the handwritten letters from home. It's the sleepless nights alone. The newborn baby you left at your wife. It's the red, white, and blue leads on his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue brought these stars in the stripe. From the hills of Indiana, from the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California. Mr. Red, White, and Blue leads on his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars